Welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Island Life Survivor podcast. You have three great hosts once again. First, your experienced Survivor fan, yours truly, it is Will. And we also have our rising Survivor fan, and
Hello, happy Wednesday.
indeed. And as always, we have the star of the show, our brand new Survivor fan, Survivor F.
Survivor F in the house. What's going on, folks?
Wow. I think we got an episode that made a lot more sense this time. We just finished watching it like 15 minutes ago. And finally, we've been waiting for it for weeks, but Gabe has been slain.
It's about time.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say, you guys
excited.
happy?
I'm excited because he was on my guesses for like the past 3 weeks, so I had to commit to still choose him. And if I didn't choose him this week, I would have been very upset because he's obviously the one out. But I've been waiting for the slimy guy to be out, and I'm excited that he's gone. Although I still feel bad. I feel like every time I feel this way about somebody, despite it, their exit interview makes me feel bad. And also question mark, why did he say he's coming back? But we'll dive into that later.
Yeah. I think the same with Rome, where I was expecting the person to be out and I would be voting for them up until I didn't, and that's the week that they get out. So I think in how the episode worked its way to the end, we got a lot more organized of an episode compared to the last one. I thought it was kind of just all over the place. But I think from the very start, everyone could kind of see the growing threats. And while I also could see the case for Genevieve in this episode, I'm happy that they took out Gabe, because the very thing that was prevalent throughout these most recent episodes was the growing power of Tuku. And if you're allowing them to remain in each and every episode towards the finish, they're going to make it's going to make for an easy win for one of the Tuku members. So didn't vote him this time, but definitely happy to see him go, in the sense that he was very much a growing threat that the rest of the tribe also saw.
See, in the Road to Glory Survivor Fantasy League on the Make Your Picks app, I used 4 votes this week, and I got Gabe as one of them, so very pleased.
Nicely done.
I'm glad
Now,
you got them right with 4 votes.
finally, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I agree with you, F. Although, by that logic, I was thinking this the whole time. Like, why are Kyle and Caroline giving up this opportunity to end up with 4 Tuku at the final 8? If those 4 Tuku vote together, then no one can beat them. They could only be tied 4-4, but they can't get overwhelmed without something like an extra vote, community idol, etc.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the most compelling conversation someone had with Kyle, for instance, was Rachel, where she was saying that, he, just as you seem like you're a shield to the rest of Tuku, Gabe is kind of the one shield who could be there for you. And I think that's true. But I think also for Kyle, he always, as soon as TK got out, he immediately saw himself as the odd man out, especially when it was the 4 of the Tuku members we have left. So I think for him, it's less of a concern of pulling out from Tuku and then trying to merge with the rest of the tribe, and it's more of a, how can I do this in a way that doesn't really put the spotlight back on me. I think the question is bigger more for Caroline and Sue in terms of how she would adapt now that her number 1 is gone, and Caroline for the after effects for how this is going to come to Sue. But I think for Caroline, at least from her point of view, she's a pretty smart survivor. She can adapt in a way that I think she can at least hold out a little bit longer than most would expect.
Sure. Yeah, it's just so tempting. It's like, if just hold on one more time. I guess if they did hold on, the classic storyline would be, will one of the 4 flip to the other? Like, in that scenario, the other 4 will certainly stand together because it's their only shot to take on the Tuku four, and then the question is, will one of those four flip, or will one of the others flip? So I suppose this is another route that Kyle and Caroline have taken, and then they can continue to work together, or they could. And Sue, I mean, I just don't. They wisely did not include her in the plan, and now she has no choice but to come up with a new number one partner because her former number one is dead.
Yeah, and if I was Sue, I would be a little nervous because not only my number one is gone, but my also other number one, Caroline, did not include me in it. So I understand why Caroline didn't include her in it because Sue was so backing up into Gabe that nobody was going to tell Sue about the whole plan. But if I was Sue, I'd be scared, be like, why wasn't I included? She was in the end, she was not the part of this whole vote tonight. She was the teenie of the other night where everyone against her and she didn't even know. It was such a good blindside. I think they pulled it off really well, but I wonder how they're going to explain it to Sue on the next episode with Caroline, because I think because now Sue knows that Caroline and Kyle voted for Gabe.
Do you
She
think
should
that?
just lie, just say it was
It wasn't
Kyle.
me. It
And
wasn't me.
do you think if they brought it up to her, like if Gabe's name got thrown in there and she was part of the conversation, do you think she would even be receptive to that?
Oh, absolutely not. I feel like Sue would go like berserk mode. It would be like anyone but Gabe, and she'll try to pull everything and everyone. I could even see Sue using her immunity idol on Gabe. Like I could actually see Sue doing
Oh,
that for some
what a
reason.
disaster that would be for the rest of them. And like, you don't know, they might be suspicious, but they don't know. So, oh, that would have been terrible. So
Yes.
I don't know if Caroline realizes how important it was for her not to tell Sue, but you're right. It
Yeah.
was really important for her not to tell Sue.
Yeah, I don't know if they like really thought out through it, and I'm shocked that it never made it back to Sue. Like I'm shocked that like Andy didn't slip being like, "Hey, they're talking about Gabe," and Sue go berserk mode from that. But like I'm shocked that Sue, in the end of the day, didn't know that Gabe was part of it and thought through and through was Genevieve. But I do you guys think that if Sue knew it was Gabe, she would have used the immunity idol? Like that's a big play to use it on use it on someone else. Do you guys think he would use it? She would use it?
I I could see that she could, but realistically, I think she would save it for herself. It's something where obviously she doesn't want to see him go, but she's staying on another week, and at the end of the day, it's about her surviving less than it is about Gabe surviving. And at least in her eyes, she might have seen that, hey, I've done as much as I could to keep this guy afloat. So even if he's leaving, I'm leaving in his good graces rather than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have taken, I think, well, if she talked to Gabe about it, there's a chance that she would act. I forget if I don't know that she's actually revealed to Gabe that she has this,
I don't believe she has.
but
Only Caroline. No.
I feel like she would inadvertently, like, spur the moment, tell him because she's trying to say that like she's considering it, and then with Gabe's persuasion skills, he might be able to get her to give it to him. But if it was just her own choice, like no one else in a vacuum, I think level heads would prevail and she would keep it. Because even if she successfully saves him, it would put them two like on the outs to everybody else. And like she's probably gonna do that and vote. Well, maybe she would still vote for Genevieve, but she would be. I guess she probably would in that case. That's an interesting alternate timeline.
So extending the discussion a little bit more for Sue, this is just more of a funny question. How ironic would it be if somehow, some way, Kyle just ends up becoming Sue's number one?
Join
Could you
forces with
could you
Kyle.
see in like could you see that as a possibility at any point in the future?
No, absolutely not. It would be funny if it
That
worked
would be
out
a plot
though.
twist.
That would be very good immature, like maturity. Sorry, maturity from Sue, which I don't think she has, unfortunately, being the oldest one. I
Oh
don't
no.
think Sue has it in her to play a game like that. To play well with Kyle and take away all the things behind her. I mean, does the montage today show you the hatred she has for Kyle
what a
from
what a
one
month.
thing?
Yeah.
You have to think that this is leading to a vote where like in today's vote, people like visibly to us the audience, we were being told Genevieve or Gabe. This has to be leading up to an episode where it's either Sue or Kyle, where they're facing off
Exactly my
against each
thoughts.
other, whether they know it or not.
Unfortunately, I think Sue might win this one just because I don't see anyone thinking that Sue is a threat versus Kyle is a big threat. He won again for an immunity challenge
Yeah.
today, which
Happy
is
to see it.
incredible. Happy to see
Uh,
it because you have him on your team.
of course, of course. But I think he's I see, like, it's ironic, but I see him as an underdog in the sense that I think he is severely lacking that social game. So while, yeah, he's winning a challenge and he's making good for himself in these challenges, I think I have a really hard time seeing him make it to the end because he's someone who doesn't we don't really see come up in these social conversations with the rest of the group. He's not someone who's really swaying anyone's opinion. He's not really someone who's seen as part of like a meaningful group. I know I say that as he's part of Tuku, but to me, he's always felt like an outsider, and he's just kind of stringing along because he's winning these challenges. So I think there's a case where this episode was really cathartic for me in the sense that it put some of the pressure off him with another win, but it also highlighted that we have two major threats because of their social game, because they're able to social engineer situations and get the sway of the group targeting one person, as unlikely as it might seem, like Saul for last week's episode.
I think that the nuanced way to cause I think I agree with you. The nuance I am gonna add is that Kyle has not had strategic social capital. Because in general, social game, like no one other than Sue hates him. Like if Kyle is at the end and if I'm any of the other people except Sue picking who to vote for, I'd be like, I like Kyle. I'd consider it. Whereas like Rome at the end, people will be like, I hate him. I'm never gonna vote for him. So I think just like being friendly, social game, Kyle's okay. But he has not yet been able to make strategic plans between his own alliance and other alliances. So maybe this opens the door for everyone else, to be honest, for Kyle, for Sue, and for Caroline to kind of branch out on their own and forge new alliances and get credit for future moves. So maybe this is net good.
Do
I
you think
certainly hope so.
that, yeah, do you think Kyle can claim voting out Gabe his idea or his blind side in a way as part of his like survivor resume, you would say?
Mm,
Or not good
I
enough?
I It's tough.
I think he could claim it at the end. He can say that like it was a group decision, but like I had to decide to go against two. So Caroline and him can say that. Everyone else like, oh yeah, what a surprise! Target the leader of Tuku. Oh, how ingenious! But for them two, like that's an important move that requires strategic thought and like careful consideration. So I think Kyle could use that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you can make the case for that. The only reason I hesitate is because it also seems like watching this episode, you could make a case for Sam kind of doing it because when Gabe's name first got brought up, it really was brought up by Sam, where they were having a conversation. And before Kyle could answer who they were looking out for, Gabe essentially fed him the answer just because he could probably see that there was a little bit of uneasiness there. I'm not so sure if Kyle might have immediately said Gabe had he not mentioned it. He might have just mentioned Genevieve or something like that. But I think based on what Kyle and Gabe their sort of connection that they've had, despite that, they both see each other as a threat. Obviously, on Gabe's end, he sees Kyle as a threat, But interestingly enough, they also showed that Kyle was at least self-aware of the fact that Gabe could be gunning for him and that he needs to get him out. So yeah, I think he was a difference maker there. So I would say, yeah, he would be able to make that claim.
I like that. And I would like to pull back from last episode about my thoughts about Genevieve's play and how bad it was. I am glad it followed through to this episode. Like,
Go
my
for it.
heart could sing right now. I am very happy that I was right. Genevieve, nobody's trusting her. So the Tuku people don't even want her because they're not even, Genevieve's not their priority. Genevieve ends up being just free flapping on nowhere. Nobody wants to work with her. She almost went out. The only reason she didn't was because everyone thought Gabe was a bigger target and they'll just save Genevieve for another day. But I'm hoping that she'll get out soon. I don't know, but we shall see.
Okay,
I
okay.
just want to.
But starting starting at
Ooh,
the
yes.
at the beginning, then like my first note is that they come back from last week's tribal, and Genevieve wants to talk to Teeny to like kind of talk things out, explain herself, and her explanation to Teeny is that Soul was not good for her, as in Genevieve's game. So that is why I had to target him and also exclude you, and as Teeny said, like make her look like a fool again.
Yeah, she did
That
make a strong
Yeah.
name for herself.
that like imagine
It
that
did not feel good.
like someone came to you to explain this, and their explanation is like, well, I do what was best for me. So yeah, that's why I betrayed you.
I think my
Yeah, and then oh, you go
go ahead.
ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna have a lengthy bit, but you can go ahead. We'll just say it afterwards.
Oh no, I just thought of that one part where she's like, I don't do the social game. And I'm like, wait, is this not what survival's about? I'm so confused for a moment.
Right? Yeah, I think my main takeaway was the like going on from last week's episode when I was saying what I was looking out for in the next episode. My hope was that Teeny would have been a little bit more observant and paying attention to how things are going, being able to take a little bit more initiative. So I saw early on in this episode that she did recognize the danger that Genevieve presented. I was hoping that was something that was not glossed over, and I'm glad it wasn't, because I think we could all kind of see the major misstep there, where she had a supporting ally in Saul and targeting him, and then she made an even bigger blunder, I feel, with how she explained it to Teeny. Because if I'm Teeny and she's telling me that she's doing something that's good for her game, hey, I'm still in this game. I'm someone who placed some level of trust in you, and you did absolutely nothing for me. And my takeaway from you is that you were essentially just looking out for yourself, is what you're telling me. And it's completely ironic because it now sheds the light to everyone else that she is someone who can manipulate people. She is someone who is a major threat. I'm pretty confident in thinking, had she not thrown Saul's name out last episode, she would not have been on the chopping block this episode. So I think,
At all.
my other comment that I made was maybe there's something that we haven't seen, that she felt the need to protect Sam, because that's what the move came across to me. And they didn't explain any of that in this episode. So I'm still pretty confused as to why she felt the need to target Saul, because she saw him as a big threat. I personally don't see it, at least in this stage of the game. So, I'm happy that the way the episode turned out, people were not blind to the fact that yes, she's a major threat.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing. I think she is thinking strategically, because that's a big complaint often, like, oh, these guys not even, they're just voting randomly or voting with their heart, they're not using strategy. And that could be okay. Like, don't like I think what she's trying to say is like no hard no hard feelings. Like, this is, she's basically like, it's just a game. Trying to do that. But unfortunately for her, her strategy did not result in her being in a majority alliance. If it did, then Teeny can be as upset as she wants, but she's would not be in the majority, so Genevieve would be safe. But because she ended up with nothing for this other than a move on her resume, she became quite not only vulnerable, but like now a target with one of the only people with something on her resume. And yeah,
Let's
almost went horribly wrong.
let's just assume that she was part of the majority after that vote. Where do you even think she would be in the majority? Because I think that move first and foremost benefits Tuku. And I feel that if it's something where she wasn't caught up the way she was after that vote, she might be part of the majority, but then she probably would be at the bottom of that majority. So I'm not this is the thing that I think is confusing a lot of people with that move, that like, okay, even if it's giving her a majority, she's helping other people more than she's helping herself.
Thinking maybe it would have been an everybody except for Soul and Teeny, with Soul going home. So everyone but Teeny. Next vote out, get out Teeny. Then you have your pick of either join the 4 Tukus or join the rest of them in like a rebellion against the Tukus. Probably she would do that latter one because you don't want to be the bottom. You don't want to be the fifth wheel. That's the only thing I can think of. Like if how things were gonna play out in her head.
I think either way she would be at the bottom, and I think assuming 2 more eliminations, Tuku already pretty much has the majority at that point. So even if you're joining Tuku, you're joining the blast, and you're at the bottom of that Tuku chain. It's just not strategically a good move in my eyes.
Now that being said, yes, she was a target this time, but really she was only the third target because the first target seemed to be Kyle, who was not available, then Gabe,
Yes.
then her. So by that logic, she still has one more shield in Gabe
Mhm.
to buy time uh, for for her to come up with something new. Because I think right
Yeah.
now she's spinning her wheels, but she's proven she can get a vote to happen. So maybe if she does that again with a better plan, it could all work out.
So
I don't know how it's gonna work.
thoughts on the challenge this time around. What did you guys
Well,
think?
first, we got 2 challenges this time. We had the reward challenge. The only thing I had for that is that's when we had the conversation between Sam and Kyle you were talking about with Rachel there. I thought Rachel showed restraint with her preference being Genevieve, but not pushing so hard that she ends up annoying people and then people are like, let's just take out Rachel kind of thing.
Yeah. Like they'll think she can't be worked with, and then boom, there she goes. I think it was I thought the reward challenge was good. You can always count on Andy to make something funny out of a reward challenge. And I just saw a picture of a snake trying to bite a big egg, and the survivor read it, and it's compared to Andy when he's using his
One-to-one.
mouth.
Yes.
It's too funny. And as much as I'm like, as much as I didn't think Andy would last long, with throughout the week, I am starting to feel like he's playing the game. He's playing a dangerous game, but he's playing a game, and I could respect that. But he has the best moments of all the reward challenge. I don't know how the camera finds him. Every moment there is just some sort of thing he does that is so good to put on a GIF or a TikTok video. Like I could just imagine everywhere of that scene.
I know people get tired sometimes of having him around, but he seems like a person that you never have a dull moment with, and just he's a pretty chill guy, so he'll have his moments and try to be chaotic from time to time, but if you didn't know any better, you'd be a pretty friendly person to hang out with.
I think he's fully turned around the audience. I think America loves Andy now, and they would want no matter what happens from now on. Uh, if he comes for another season, I think people will be happy. And what a turnaround from the beginning of the season
Yes.
for Andy.
Oh
I
yeah,
do
he
have a note
lasted
by the
way
way.
longer than I thought.
Speaking of Andy, he's to be honest, using Rome's strategy right now, calling himself the smiling assassin. Not only make like just building relationships with everybody, that's good, but also just gaslighting everybody and just making up stories.
Yes. Every single person, he's like, this person said your name. Oh, do you know what Kyle says about you too? Dangerous though, because the moment these people talk to one another, it's gonna be like the whole Rome situation again. But the thing is, I actually don't think these guys are gonna talk to one another. I actually don't feel like they will. Like, do you think Sue will come up to Kyle? I really don't think so.
It works until it doesn't. So I think for now we're good. But he'll have to be a little bit more careful as more and more people get eliminated, just because at some point I imagine that everyone's going to want to air things out and try to be as open as possible just to not be targets themselves. I think for now he's doing it in a little bit more of a subtle way than Rome was. Rome was very much open about like, hey, I'm this, hey, I'm that, and he did it immediately post merge. So I think with Andy, at least with how he saw Rome go, he probably had some takeaways and is trying to use that same strategy a little bit better.
If you were Andy, who would be the two people you want to work with the most out of everybody right now? Like, because Andy's now playing like he's with everybody. He's with the people. He will work with anybody. He's down. That smile, that big white teeth smile.
Yeah.
Who do you think he truly wants to work with?
I don't know about truly, but I think two people who could benefit him a lot. Kyle, just to take the heat off him, and then Rachel. I think Rachel's playing a really smart game right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think she actually is a good team member for him, even though they are part of the same original tribe. I think if they build a stronger connection, they can actually make it pretty far as a trio, assuming those three last. Plus, I
Yeah.
completely forgot Rachel still has one of her immunities.
Yeah, I worry when, like, is she ever going to use it? When is she using it? I'm very happy that Sue and Rachel still hasn't told anybody about well, besides Caroline finding out, but that's it. It's been really tight-lipped. Even Sam doesn't know it, and Sam's supposedly Rachel's like closest ally, but even Sam doesn't know, and which I think that's a good play on Rachel's part.
It's very rare in, I don't know, let's just say the past 15 seasons of Survivor. Like, they just have this urge that forces them to tell people, often multiple people. So, yeah, I am very impressed. And now the ball's in their court for Sue and for Sue slash Caroline, and then for Rachel. Like, with the secret, what can they do with it? Uh, I'm eager to see, because obviously you could just not. It's supposed to save you, but you can't save yourself if you don't know you're in danger. And so if you don't play, get voted out. I am. I'm interested to see how it goes. Who I wish had an idol was Teeny. Teeny just be
Oh,
kicked
teeny.
while she's down. Uh,
Oh, her bag burned. Oh my goodness. Right in front of her. I was like, I can't believe her bag was burned in this episode.
Symbolism.
Um, it is symbolism, and I actually really liked how they put in her story because we all know that it's all about the edit. Not everybody's story gets put in, and the ones we get to see are the ones they decided to let the America see, you know. And I'm very happy that we got to see Teeny's story and to see like her emotions. It's raw, it is true, and it's real. You know that feeling of she thought that she and Genevieve had like a good relationship, had like a good ally, and only to realize that nope, it wasn't that, and she couldn't work with Genevieve anymore. And I think Teeny kind of represented like a breakup, like a breakup as a friendship, breakup as a group, and I feel for her. I really do. I feel like that's really tough on her, and I think she took it really well. After
after
when
just Asia goes and Keyshawn goes and Soul goes and uh Genevieve goes, because it turns out she hasn't been my ally all along, so that's as good as she gets voted out too. So we lost to everybody. And then just for good measure, just light her bag on fire, just
No,
in the
I
middle of
thought
the night.
someone else did it. For a moment, I thought someone burned her bag. I'm like, who did it? Who did it?
Oh, that'd be diabolical. It's just chaos. There's been seasons of people to say, like, you know what we need? We need some chaos, and did have done stuff like that.
Like
Yeah, no,
burned other people's bags or their bags?
Like, this rice, let's just throw the bag of rice in
Oh,
the
that's
fire.
terrible. Oh yeah. No, that's terrible.
yeah. Now that
That
Rome's
is
gone, we need a
terrible.
new way to incite chaos in this season. By the,
Imagine that's what Andy does. Burn your bag. He's like, I saw Sue drop your bag in the fire.
by the way,
What a strategy.
was anyone else looking for Rome's shirt this episode? Because we saw it come up a couple times. The
All right,
light,
I don't think
the
I
light.
saw it this time.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it either, but figured I'd ask.
I wasn't
No, I
on the
think
lookout
it's
for it.
over.
It is funny that, I mean, we saw it on Rome in the Sue montage of despising Kyle. Kyle being the worst human on earth, according to Sue. But other than that, uh, did not see it. That brings us to our favorite baby's first segment because we go to the immunity challenge. And before we get started, we get the now dubbed rice negotiation. So, we got the backstory here is that for 40 seasons, it was like uh 39 days, like 18 contestants, one survivor kind of thing. Then world almost ends because of COVID. So that's serious business. The show might not have recovered, but they resumed the show. But this time they're gonna make it shorter. I think 26 days, right? This is the new instead of 39 days. And so Jeff Probst decides like, okay, it's a shorter season for the contestants. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the conditions harsher. You get less items. You are basically starved while you're there. And what he starts doing is, well, I'm starving you. So at this point in the merge, I'm going to offer a whole new bag of rice because you've either run out or barely have anything left at this point. But to get it, X number of you need to sit out. And over the last 7 seasons, sometimes it's been easy negotiation. Sometimes Jeff's been taken advantage of. Sometimes he's been ruthless. And so here it goes again. Here's your bag of rice. I want 4 of you to sit out of the challenge, give up your chance to win immunity, and you saw what happened. So what did you think?
Yeah, I felt I related to Sam really hard in that sequence just because my initial thoughts were there's no way in hell I'm giving up my shot in the dark for the bag of rice. If it's something where I'm going to starve a little bit more, not have this treat, I know even if it's rice, it's something for them to eat. I would much rather try to see if I could still have the shot in the dark, just in case, you don't ever know when things get really bad and you're the expected vote when you might need something like that. So for me, I'd probably react the same way, be hesitant towards agreeing with the rest of the group. But I'd probably honestly cave in too, like if I feel like the rest of the group is hard pressed on that, just so I don't create a divide between me and everyone else. But
Well, even before that, the first offer from Jeff was not shot in the dark. It was just don't compete. He
I see.
wants 4 people to. He asks 4 people out of the 9 of you don't compete in the challenge.
Sorry, yeah, so I got a little bit ahead there. So I think with the don't compete, I wouldn't do that either, but I think in terms of I again, I like varieties and challenges, but I don't like segments where you have to then keep people out. I wouldn't have liked that if that went through and people just weren't competing. So I don't like the fact that you have something like that. I think if you're going to do that, I would like that a little bit more if it's like when the show first starts, even though that's kind of a little tricky if you're doing tribals with smaller groups. But I think overall, I don't like the concept of removing participants from a game where you want to see everyone compete. I think there's other means to be able to get the reward or other alternatives that you can have. So I don't know. I'm just of the thought that if there's a way to get around it while still getting the rice in this case, kind of like how earlier group got chicken by winning the challenge. I think this is more an incentive of, hey, top 3 or top 4 who finish have access to this rice. Something like that where you're still allowing everyone to compete and not necessarily taking anyone's opportunity away. I think it makes less sense when, hey, we're doing this to win immunity and I'm not even able to compete in this challenge, so I can't even win immunity. The people that you're banking on there are people who are like for sure going to be safe for the rest of the group. And I don't think even with the strongest 4 people, you can give them an easy excuse to just sit out as much as Gabe was trying to take his 3 out.
I can tell you that for the previous seasons that this has been a thing, and even like old seasons where it's not exactly the setup, but it's a general sit out and get a consolation prize basically. There's a long history of people agreeing to it because this one's not like it's not you're not forced, and it's not like you fail the challenge you get punished. This is you willingly doing this. Long history of people willingly doing it and then just getting voted out that same day or the same night, I guess. My advice: don't step down. Like you need to compete. You don't know what's happening.
Yes.
They're just asking for trouble if you're not going to even try to get in.
That's exactly it. I think
Yeah.
there's a reason that they set up these challenges, and they set it up so that they're assuming everyone's participating to throw an option in there where you're taking that away. Like, I want to watch the episode and I want to see everyone be able to compete. I don't want to watch it and see like half the group missing and not able to say anything, and like you said, potentially be voted out. That doesn't sit right with me.
Be clear.
Yeah.
This is like I blame the contestant. Like what I'm saying, you, the contestant, do not step out. If you do, that's on you. I don't blame Jeff Ropes if you decide not to compete and then get voted out.
Oh, of course not. I just think that, like, I don't know why that's an option by the host. I think if you're trying, like, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be bringing to the challenge, but I think whatever it's trying to bring, you can bring through other means without needing to do that.
Gotcha. So then they all actually, because as the I don't know, 6 seasons before this, all but one time, as far as I remember, the contestants cave. Whether it's via negotiation or not, like they do some amount of them step out. But this time, they don't. And they actually start throwing counter offers at Jeff. In the past, this has worked on Jeff. He's been like, okay, that's interesting. But this time, just like, nope, stick with my 4 people. Someone,
Mm,
now this is unprecedented. Someone offers shot in the dark. So that's interesting. Jeff says
that's
no.
different.
And then,
Take it a
was
step
it
further.
Kyle? I forget who shouted it out.
It was
He's
Kyle.
like, what if everyone gives? And Jeff himself, you see, he's like, uh, all of them. Like he himself is surprised.
He's
If
like,
I was
wait, are you sure? Like
if I
he
was
was like,
Kyle,
are you sure?
if I was Kyle, I would have been like, "Oh, I misspoke. I just meant like all of the other contestants,
Yeah, the 4 minus
everyone
negative
except for me."
whatever. Yeah. Everyone but me. Even he was shocked. He was like, "Are you sure about this? Like, this is your lifeline.
Yes.
This could be the reason of why you're not going." Because everybody's afraid of like, what if they're gonna use a shot of the dark? What if they're gonna use a shot of the dark? Now, no one's afraid because everyone's got none of them. So we're not afraid anymore. We don't have to lie. If I'm gonna vote for you, I'm voting for you. We don't have to give you a wrong one because there is that scare of 1 in 6 chance where you lose your vote, but you don't get you're fine. You're fine today. You live another day, which is crazy. Actually, I don't think he did it this time, but usually when people take time to like pick on the 4 people that are not going to compete, Jeff does this thing where he slashes the rice bag, so it's like pouring rice. So people have to think about it real fast and be like, I'll do it. And like everyone's going to make a decision because they're like rice is time. It's gonna empty out soon enough, and no one's gonna get rice.
You guys
Yeah,
are giving me a
So
really good
that was
image of Jeff.
scary, Jeff. That was we'll
yeah,
show it to you later. That was scary, Jeff. Like he had
Waste.
never done that before. He's like, yeah. So while you're doing, I'm just gonna do this. Takes out a knife and a
yeah.
machete. Basically, I don't know where. So I just,
Dude, what the heck, Jeff?
and
Like,
then
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
panic. In that situation, people panicked and stepped out when they probably shouldn't have stepped out. But now I'm just like, we're not there. Easy for us to say. They're starving every day, basically. However, my official advice is see through the starvation and
Push
hope
through.
hope that other people step off, basically.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that if you were Sam, you would not have given up your shot in the dark? Would you
Ooh,
have
so
stood your ground, or would you to join in with everybody else? Well, let's say, okay, let's say, well, I'll do two situations. One is today,
yeah.
where it is shot in the dark. Everyone says yes, but you, would you have done it? Just because
Okay, so
everyone's
just
also saying yes, you know?
yeah, so painting the picture, the suggestions made, what if we all give up a shot in the dark? And eventually everyone has said, well, if everyone else does it, I'll do it, except for me. It was Sam in this
Yeah.
case, but except for me. And now everyone's looking at me to do it.
And you're not feeling super good in this situation. You know, like you don't have a great ally. You don't feel great. It could be you tonight if you don't win this immunity challenge.
It certainly could be me. I g- I want to keep my shot in the dark, and in this case, I feel like I'm in danger anyways, right? Because like the downside is you messed with people's food, as sad as it is to say, right? Like it's gonna be looked at that I prevented someone from getting food, kind of. That could make
Yes.
me a target, but I'm already a target. So at that point, like I might need to use my shot in the dark. So I think I would hold out. I'm going against my previous advice, which is to conform to what everyone else is doing. However, that advice is focused on the beginning of the game. We're in the thick of the merge at this point, so that's what I'm gonna say for your first scenario.
Okay, that's fair. How about you, F? What would you do?
Yeah, I think I would react pretty much the same way that Sam did, where initially I would just like be hesitant and even say that, hey, yeah, no, I don't feel good with this. I definitely agree with Will in terms of like there's the tension of you're already kind of on the chopping block here, but I wouldn't necessarily jump the gun in thinking that they're immediately going to vote me out. I think we've seen some surprising scenarios play out. And as a contestant, I might, if I'm not starving, if I'm kind of still, if I have some mental capacity to think about that, I might think about the fact that, okay, I might be on the bottom, but I'm not necessarily the next target. But I don't want to put myself in a position where I am making everyone the next, I am making everyone target me for the next tribal. So I would voice my disagreement to it. But then, if there's a situation where Gabe would then start pressing me like he did in the episode, then I would be like, yeah, okay. If that's what the group wants, I don't want to take that away from the rest of the group. Pretty much what Sam said.
Mm,
I don't think I'm gaining any points by being agreeable. Is the thing. Like showing loyalty to the group decision. I don't think it's gonna be like, yeah, I was gonna vote for him, but he he relented to us, so let's keep him another one. I'm in
yeah.
Sam's position. I want to prioritize my own survival, and I'm gonna wager that the target that I present to people, as in like, let's vote for so and so. So for him, he said Gabe. I'm gonna wager that other people think that Gabe is a bigger threat than me right now, and they will join me. And then like tonight, vote for Gabe. The next day, well, we've moved on. We've moved on from the rice thing, so I'm not targeting anymore. That's
You're
right.
not part of the story.
I'm basically gambling it all on that interpretation of what could happen.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. I like it too. I feel like Sam was put in such a spot. Like Gabe came for him. I feel like. Be like, what are you gonna do
Definitely
with your?
did.
What are you gonna do if you don't have anything? Anyways, you need food to win. You're not gonna win without food. I
Did you
would be like,
did you see how wide his
back
eyes
off,
opened
sir.
as he was like glaring at him while he was asking him that?
Yeah, all
He's
he
like,
saw
like
was,
Sam, I swear to
give me
God,
the
man.
food.
He's like,
Oh
Sam, I
my
swear to God,
goodness.
if you don't do this, I'm gonna sick sue on you.
No, yeah, it's like you're next. Like I'm gonna be like you're next. I don't care. You will be next.
And just
I
watch me.
feel like.
What if he won the immunity challenge, right? Like after being like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stand firm on this.
Wait, who? Sam or Gabe?
Sam.
Sam. That would be cool. He was close.
Yeah, he did good.
Oh, he was pretty close. Yeah. I'm always shocked. Sue is really good on the immunity challenges. she's really good on the balance games,
Yes.
and it's very impressive, I think.
Yeah, without Kyle there, not Sam. Sue would have a number of immunities
Oh, for
as
sure. And
well.
I feel like maybe that's why Sue also hates Kyle. Like every time it's been like her and Kyle, and I feel like she would have won a good amount if it wasn't for Kyle. And if you already don't like someone, this doesn't make you like them more.
I feel
See,
like I get that. Like she should have like that's something she should be saying in her behind the scenes stuff.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
true. Not the he voted for me. He put my name in there. He put my name in there. The whole
Yeah.
compilation is just gold.
Okay, I wanna zoom in on the shot in the dark business. So I was thinking this during the episode. The past 6, 7 seasons, including this one, this whole shot in the dark has been a point of contention amongst the fans because it's just something new. Like people often don't like something new. The shot in the dark is very new, and for the new era, and just like all these advantages happening all at once is new. The beware advantage is new. Losing votes so often is new. So it's the shot in the dark is one of those contentious items. I do wonder if like the there's going to be an outcry of joy, like good riddance. We didn't want these shot in the darks involved anyway. Once after everyone's seen this episode, I wonder if Jeff hesitated on accepting this offer because it's basically what it is the cast rejecting one of the new game mechanics and just getting rid of it for the rest of the game. And even if that's not how they were thinking about it, that is what happened.
Right.
That's true. I didn't even think about that because it's never gonna come back. And Jeff was probably like, you sure? I feel like Jeff made have been like, hey, everybody do it, not thinking that everyone would agree because that takes a lot of people. But everyone was just like, yeah, sure. I mean, if you guys are doing it, I'll do it. Everyone's like that, besides Sam, obviously. But that is interesting because I feel like okay, the shot in the dark is no longer in play, and I do wonder, like in general, the Survivor fans, do they like the shot in the dark? Do they like that being a part of it, or they don't? They think this is just an annoying part of it, just like losing votes. What do you guys like the shot in the dark, or you guys don't like it?
Well, this is my only experience with the shot in the dark, so I don't have much to go on, but I think it does add a strategic element to the game if it's done right and if it actually works to the outcome that you want. So I like it in
Mm.
that aspect, but I think Will can speak to it a little bit better.
Oh, I officially like it. I like that it emphasizes blind sides. You can't, and this happens sometimes in the whole rest of the 40 seasons. You can't just come with your majority alliance and be like, "F, it's you tonight." Yep, just telling you to your face. Nothing you can do about it. It's gonna be you.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
so F
then and
me,
then
huh?
and then and then yeah, F you. So everyone goes to tribal votes
F
votes
you,
you out.
F.
Yeah. Now, if you do that, you would be like, well, fine. I'm just gonna play a shot in the dark. And now there's a 1 in 6 shot that I'm immune, and so one of you guys are going home. So it means you could risk it, but really you should be accounting for the possibility that there's a successful shot in the dark, or you need to put insane effort to make sure that the person you're targeting has no idea. I like I like that idea. There's an argument onto has it actually been doing that, and I'd be willing to kind of investigate all the seasons to find out. But I like it on paper. I'm pretty sure the general consensus is negative though about the shot in the dark.
Mm.
Right.
It
I personally.
feels a little. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you go, you go.
I feel I feel it does come across gimmicky. I think we talked about this the other one of the previous episodes. It's literally a 6-sided die because it's a 1 in 6 shot, but it's not. They're not rolling the die. They're
Yeah.
handing over the die and then picking a scroll out of another urn on the side,
I
which then they
remember you
bring
saying
back
that.
and hand to Jeff. Who know it's a little clunky. I admit. I admit.
It takes away the
But
magic of it calling the shot in the dark, There's no shot. There's no dark. No, I'm kidding. I personally don't think it's that great just because it's a 1 in 6 chance. It's not that big of a chance. I actually personally would like it more if it's 1 in 3 chances. I feel like if I know that there's 1 in 6 chance, even if you use a shot in the dark, I'm not that afraid because I feel like there's a higher chance of me winning over you winning. There's a higher chance of you losing your vote and also still having to be voted on and not safe. I feel like I personally would like it if it's 1 in 3. That takes away from the dice, but the dice is not even a thing. So what's the point?
well, of course, of course, if the odds are too high, like it's just a free immunity idol at that point. If it's this is all arbitrary. Like in my head, that feels too powerful. Like for free,
Mm,
for just
but
I didn't
that
have to
makes
do
you need
yeah.
a blindside even more, That makes you want to work harder on the blind side. But
You
I
would
guess like
certainly have to do that. True, true. It feels like at like 3 episodes from now, when someone is clearly like Kyle's still here somewhere, and he knows he's a target. Now he, no matter what happens, is gonna play his 1 in 3 shot because it's good odds, 1 in 3. Like that's one below 50-50. And he didn't have to do any. He didn't have to do anything to earn this. Everyone gets this advantage, and so to
mm,
me that it's interesting. Like, what's the right number? I'm sure there's some interesting game theory that I can go into. If you're gonna have this advantage, what should the odds be?
Just watch they
Um,
turn it into like a gotcha system with like a pay to win mechanic where
Pay to
okay,
win.
1 to 6 chance, but if you pay such and such, you can actually drop it to 1 in 5 or 1 in 4.
mm.
Hey, right now you pay your vote that night to get a 1 in 6. So you pay your vote tonight and your vote for the next one
Oh, I
to
like
get a
that.
1 in 5.
Ooh, that's a good one. That actually is a really good one. But I feel like
I
that
mean,
puts a target in your back. That's not safe. That is never safe. I
well,
also feel like if you're using the shot in the dark and you use it successfully, I feel like the chances are you're going next week. If you're not going today, you're going tomorrow. I
I'm
just
trying
feel
to
like
think.
you
I,
just prove
I
to everyone that you're the weakest link.
I think it's hit twice in its history. One of the times I think they went next. The time after
Yeah.
that, I don't remember what happened to her. The other person, if she got voted out the next week. I will say the time that it hit and it blocked votes, one of the hypest moments in all of Survivor. Like you could tell the people who were there, even though it meant disaster for them, were just so excited to see it actually work. So I admit that. Well, I admit, and I'm like this one reason I like it is the hype. But I'm just curious. I'm like besides like the meta, like oh, do you like it? Do you not like it? The strategy is I am giving away my safety net, but I also am guaranteeing no one else has a safety net. So
Mm.
you're weighing those two things against each other. Maybe it does make sense. Like it'll be easier for me to control the game, not having to worry about other people using their shot in the dark.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Kyle's mastermind all along.
right. Okay.
I wish that was the interview was like, that was my plan, guys. I wanted them to use all their shot in the dark. Like,
Wink,
I
wink,
wish he was
nudge,
like
nudge.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that would have been killer. That would have been such a killer move on his part.
Honestly, like you're talking about adding stuff to his resume. That's one of the things you could add to your resume. Hey, I got rid of this new mechanic that they brought into Survivor. That was my idea.
That would be so funny if because even if Jeff hates it, like Jeff's not voting. It's only my peers that are voting in the jury. So
Yeah.
if they laugh, that's good for me.
Okay. So before I ask about what you're looking forward to in the next episode, one other thing I wanted to comment on was during Tribal. Did anyone catch a glimpse of Saul? The
Been waiting for the
yeah, right.
moment. He
Man, like
looks great.
I know, right? Like a model just going down the walkway. Like, what did the cameraman tell him? Just like come in with this like sleeveless shirt. Don't say anything. Don't look at anyone. Just sit there and look cool.
It's one of the
He
best
came
things
in
about
amazing.
Survivor.
He's
It's
like
let's
glistening.
the tried and true, like once we're in the post merge, the jury phase of the game, seeing the members of the jury the night after they got voted out, and they come in their best fit. He,
Mhm.
I can tell you, I saw him at the New York City a live event for another podcast, and he didn't look like that. he he looked how I'd expect him to look. Meanwhile, him on the jury, his first tribal council, is a model. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't even think he said anything. Like at least Sierra was like making comments here and there. But
Yeah,
Saul was
shush
just cool as
jury.
a cucumber.
The
Just
jury's supposed to be
chill.
silent. They should be. Jeff should be like, "Hey there, that's a warning.
I
You're
do
only there to observe."
I do love also Sierra also looks amazing, but everyone's focus I feel like tonight was all on Soul. Like what happened to Tribal? No idea. My eyes were just trying to catch another glimpse of Soul's fit. Like amazing. Hair done. Those two look like they were going for another show. Like were they
Right.
going for the Bachelor Bachelorette? Were they going for Dancing with the Stars? Like it was not Survivor.
We'll see how they outdo themselves in the next episode. But yeah, speaking of the next episode, what are you looking forward to the most in the next episode? What do you have your eye on?
Ooh.
I'll go first.
Yes, you go first.
I I think all eyes are on Sue. So what I want to know is, can she get over the fact that Kyle and Caroline uh, went behind her back? How quickly can she get over that and figure out what's her next move? It doesn't need to be getting back with them if she doesn't think that's best, but she needs to pivot somewhere to make sure she's not a sitting duck. Because yeah, sure, she might not be the number one target next, because that could be Kyle, it could even be Genevieve's again, it could be Sam. So she might not be on the top of the list. But if she isn't able to get back power, she won't be able to make any moves going forward. And then even if she is at the end, she's not going to be able to impress anybody. She's not going to be able to impress Gabe if she hasn't done anything, because Gabe will be like, well, I did everything. However, if she does make at least uh, one strategic move that benefits her, she can say that I worked with Gabe and then I pivoted without him and then I controlled my destiny with this move. Bada bing, bada boom, winner, Sue. If she can do that. So that's what I want to see. Where will she pivot and how fast will she pivot?
Great observation. What about you,
I
Ange?
love that. I actually wanted. I was thinking about more about Sue's stuff too, but I want to change it up, and I'm gonna answer Genevieve. As you know how I feel about Genevieve throughout the podcast, I am intrigued on what Genevieve's gonna do next because I feel like throughout this entire gameplay, she's just trying to take people out, but she's never been building her own alliance, and alliances are important. And I think that she doesn't have a strong connection with anyone now. Her only person was really Teeny and Soul, and she broke those alliances. And I wonder because she's next on the chopping block. So unless she is able to flip it and be like, "Hey, this person is a way bigger threat. Let's take them out." I think she's in trouble, and I am curious what she's gonna do because I think depending on what she does next episode, I think it could really make it or break it for her gameplay and see if she's one of the final three just based off of that. So I'm intrigued on seeing what Genevieve does.
Wonderful. Yeah, as for me, I would say that, I think that Sam and Teeny were two people that I really liked how they came across in this episode. Teeny had, just kind of the symbolism of lighting a fire under her. So I think for me, I'm looking out for, in terms of personality changes, in terms of her social game changes, where she's willing to be a little bit more adaptable, not necessarily needing to conform, but trying to build a better support system around her. She's lost her supports in situations where she might not have had control, but I think if she's able to put herself out there. She's someone that no one really seems to have a negative opinion about, but I think she can make it far if she's able to take a little bit more initiative, work towards bettering her relationships and finding points to support her colleagues, like, or not colleagues, but support her survivor supporters whenever their name gets thrown out there, if she's ever part of a conversation. As for Sam, I thought he actually brought up some really good points. He felt like he was at the bottom. I want to see how that changes within this next episode. He still has the dynamic with Andy. I would like to see, how their relationship changes. It does seem more strained than it was before, and the dynamic in terms of who's on the top, who's more on the bottom has shifted. But I can see a situation forward where Sam can kind of build himself and try to form new support, especially with Tuku as it gets broken up. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm
All good
definitely
stuff.
intrigued on what's
All good
happening.
stuff.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
getting
excited.
to the crunch time here. In my opinion, at 6, it's actually, let's say 7. At 7, it's like the like it's go time, race to the end, and we're one away from that. Next week will be 8, so I'm ready.
Yeah, it looks to be a great episode.
I know, I'm pumped. I feel like every episode of this season has been keeping me on like the edge of my seat. I just don't know who's gonna go. Like even today, even though we knew it was either Genevieve or Gabe, I still was like, what did they decide? What's happening? Who are we talking about? And it's really good. I really liked it. I don't know if it's the editing or just the gameplay, but this season I'm really, really enjoying.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still quite surprised that Kyle's around, but hey, I'll take it.
It helps
I
when
regret every
you
week
get
not
4.
having him on my team.
See if he can get a 5th.
Yeah, let's see if he can get a 5th, and if he does, I mean, he could. I would never. We'll go through this some future podcast episode if we could do it in a spoilery way. The people who have 5, a lot of them like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, I can totally see that. Kyle, I would not have been on the list. I'd be like, yeah, he might win a couple. Instead, he's got 4 going for 5. If he gets that, could he become the winningest survivor of all time? We'll have to wait and see. Any final thoughts for y'all?
No, looking forward to the next episode. Wishing everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving break.
Aw, thanks. I'm excited to see more of Soul's and Sierra's fit, and I guess Gabe's fit next.
They don't leave out Gabe. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Not the last time we're gonna see him, he said. Where he's coming back. He'll be back.
Oh yeah, that's true. He
Back with
says,
back.
I'll be back. What do you mean you'll be back? This is not
And then also
When he said
Carolina
that, I'm like,
Snake.
wait a minute. You know
Also,
how
I was gonna say also calling Carolina Snake.
oh yes. I like how he did that and not to Kyle. Like, how did you know this was not even Kyle's idea? Like he would disrespect Kyle, so he's like, Kyle couldn't even think of that. It was Caroline.
I think if I were to guess, I think Kyle told him that like it's either gonna be you or Genevieve. So I think he had an inkling of an idea that Kyle might put his name out there.
Oh,
I think
okay.
with Caroline, it might have been more of a surprise.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, when he was like, I'll be back, I was shocked.
Oh yeah, no, it was like on the spot. Do you want to see Gabe again? Returning season?
If I had to pick, it would be Soul. If I had my pick, Soul would be who I want to pick returning for a returning season. That's my personal pick.
Is Gabe the only option? I think if you're asking me, it's too early to say for me.
It's do you want to see Gabe on another season of Survivor? That's the question.
Sure. Yeah, I think he creates an interesting team dynamic, so he's pretty entertaining to follow. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Okay, that's cool to hear.
Yeah, my answer is no. I'm done with them. Good reasons. It's been nice knowing you. And with that, thank you again for joining us on the island to chat about Survivor. Excited to talk to y'all next week. Until we speak again, ciao.